The Indian Ocean, the third largest ocean in the world, covering approximately 70 million square kilometers, Oregon about 20% of the Earth's water surface. It is bounded by Asia to the north, Africa to the west, Australia to the east, and the Southern Ocean to the south. Unlike the Pacific and Atlantic Oceans, which extend from pole to pole, the Indian Ocean is largely enclosed by land in the north, giving it unique geographical, climatic, and historical characteristics. For centuries, it has played a central role in global trade, cultural exchange, colonization, and geopolitical strategy. The Indian Ocean includes several important seas, gulfs, bays, and straits that connect major regions of the world. Notable bodies of water within it include the Arabian Sea, the Bay of Bengal, the Andaman Sea, and the Red Sea. It also connects to the Mediterranean Sea through the Suez Canal and to the Pacific Ocean through the Strait of Malacca. Other important straits include the Strait of Hormuz and the Bab el-Mandeb, which serve as critical maritime choke points for global oil transportation and international trade. The ocean floor of the Indian Ocean is diverse and geologically active. It contains mid-ocean ridges such as the Central Indian Ridge and the Southwest Indian Ridge, deep-sea trenches like the Java Trench, and vast abyssal plains. The region is also known for its volcanic activity and tectonic plate movements, particularly along the boundaries of the Indo-Australian Plate. These tectonic interactions have occasionally caused devastating natural disasters, such as the 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami, which affected multiple countries and resulted in significant loss of life. One of the most distinctive features of the Indian Ocean is its monsoon system. The climate of the region is strongly influenced by seasonal wind patterns that reverse direction twice a year. During the summer monsoon, winds blow from the ocean toward the Asian continent, bringing heavy rainfall to countries like India, Bangladesh, and Sri Lanka. In contrast, during the winter monsoon, winds blow from the land toward the ocean, creating drier conditions in South Asia. The monsoon winds have shaped not only the climate but also the history of the region. Ancient sailors used predictable wind patterns to travel between East Africa, the Middle East, South Asia, and Southeast Asia. This seasonal wind system made the Indian Ocean one of the earliest centers of long-distance maritime trade. The ocean's warm waters also contribute to the formation of tropical cyclones, especially in the Bay of Bengal and the Arabian Sea, which can have significant environmental and economic impacts on coastal populations. The Indian Ocean is rich in marine biodiversity. It is home to coral reefs, mangrove forests, seagrass beds, and a wide variety of fish, mammals, and invertebrates. The coral reefs of the Maldives, Seychelles, and parts of Indonesia are among the most biologically diverse ecosystems in the world. Marine species such as tuna, sharks, whales, and dolphins inhabit these waters, supporting both ecological balance and economic activity. Fisheries are a vital source of food and employment for millions of people living along the Indian Ocean's coastline. Coastal communities rely heavily on fishing for their livelihoods, and many countries depend on marine exports for economic growth. However, overfishing, pollution, climate change, and coral bleaching have threatened marine ecosystems in recent decades. Rising sea temperatures and ocean acidification are placing increasing pressure on fragile habitats, highlighting the need for sustainable management and international cooperation. Historically, the Indian Ocean has been a bridge between civilizations. As early as 3000 BCE, trade networks connected the Indus Valley civilization with Mesopotamia and East Africa. Spices, textiles, precious stones, ivory, and other goods were exchanged across vast distances. Arab traders played a crucial role in expanding maritime commerce during the early centuries of the Common Era, establishing trade routes that linked Africa, the Middle East, India, and Southeast Asia. During the age of exploration in the 15th and 16th centuries, European powers such as Portugal, the Netherlands, France, and Britain sought control over Indian Ocean trade routes. The arrival of Vasco da Gama in 1498 marked the beginning of European colonial influence in the region. Over time, many coastal territories came under colonial rule, profoundly shaping the political and economic landscape of surrounding nations. The Indian Ocean thus became a central arena for imperial rivalry and global commerce. In the modern era, the Indian Ocean remains one of the most strategically important regions in the world. It serves as a major corridor for international shipping, with a significant portion of global oil and natural gas supplies transported through its waters. The Strait of Hormuz, for example, is one of the busiest oil transit choke points globally. Any disruption in these sea lanes can have widespread economic consequences. The region is also home to rapidly growing economies such as India, Indonesia, and several East African nations. As global trade has expanded, the Indian Ocean has become increasingly important for energy security, maritime security, and regional cooperation. Naval presence and military bases maintained by global powers underscore its strategic significance. Issues such as piracy, maritime disputes, and territorial claims further highlight the need for collaborative security arrangements. Beyond trade and politics, the Indian Ocean has historically facilitated cultural exchange. Religions such as Islam, Hinduism, and Buddhism spread across its shores through merchant networks. Languages, architectural styles, cuisine, and traditions reflect centuries of interaction among diverse communities. Coastal cities like Zanzibar, Mumbai, Muscat, and Malacca became vibrant centers of multicultural exchange. Today, regional organizations such as the Indian Ocean Rim Association, IORA, promote economic cooperation, sustainable development, and maritime security among member states. These efforts aim to strengthen connectivity and ensure that the ocean continues to serve as a zone of peace and prosperity. In summary, the Indian Ocean is far more than a vast body of water. It is a dynamic and historically significant region that has shaped the development of civilizations for thousands of years. Its unique geography, monsoon-driven climate, abundant marine resources, and strategic location have made it a center of trade, cultural interaction, and geopolitical importance. As environmental challenges and global competition intensify, the Indian Ocean will continue to play a crucial role in shaping the future of international relations, economic development, and environmental sustainability. The Indian Ocean has long been a central arena of human interaction, trade, migration, and political competition. From ancient maritime trade networks to modern strategic rivalries, the region has continuously shaped global history. While Part 1 introduced its geography, climate, and general importance, this section focuses more deeply on its historical evolution, colonial transformation, and present-day geopolitical significance. The Indian Ocean was one of the earliest centers of organized maritime trade. As early as 3000 BCE, merchants from the Indus Valley Civilization traded goods such as cotton textiles, beads, and precious stones with Mesopotamia and East Africa. Archaeological findings suggest that early sailors used simple boats and relied heavily on coastal navigation. By the first millennium BCE, trade networks had expanded significantly. The development of knowledge about monsoon winds allowed sailors to travel more confidently across open waters. These predictable wind patterns enabled two-way seasonal trade between Arabia, India, East Africa, and Southeast Asia. Arab, Persian, and Indian traders became dominant forces in the region, exchanging spices, silk, gold, ivory, and other valuable goods. During the medieval period, the Indian Ocean became a thriving commercial zone. Islamic merchants played a major role in linking different regions. Ports such as Calicut, India, Aden, Yemen, Malacca, Malaysia, and Kilwa, East Africa, became important trading hubs. Trade was not limited to goods, it also facilitated the spread of religions such as Islam and Buddhism. Islam, in particular, spread widely along coastal regions of East Africa and Southeast Asia through peaceful trade and interaction rather than military conquest. Unlike the Atlantic world, where trade later became associated with slavery and colonization, early Indian Ocean trade was largely cooperative and multicultural. Merchants of different ethnic and religious backgrounds coexisted in port cities, creating diverse and cosmopolitan societies. The arrival of European powers in the late 15th century marked a major turning point in Indian Ocean history. In 1498, Portuguese explorer Vasco da Gama reached India by sailing around the Cape of Good Hope. This event opened a direct sea route between Europe and Asia, reducing Europe's reliance on Middle Eastern intermediaries. The Portuguese sought to control key ports and dominate the spice trade. They established forts and naval bases in Goa, Malacca, and along the East African coast. However, their dominance was later challenged by the Dutch, French, and British. By the 17th and 18th centuries, the Dutch East India Company and the British East India Company had become powerful commercial and political entities. The British gradually gained control over India and other strategic territories, transforming the Indian Ocean into a vital link in their global empire. Sea routes connecting Britain to India and East Asia became essential for trade, military movement, and communication. Colonial rule significantly altered the political and economic structures of Indian Ocean societies. European powers exploited local resources, reorganized trade systems, and introduced plantation economies in regions such as Sri Lanka and parts of East Africa. The construction of the Suez Canal in 1869 further increased the ocean's importance by shortening the sea route between Europe and Asia. The 20th century brought major political transformations to the Indian Ocean region. After World War II, many countries in Asia and Africa gained independence from colonial rule. India, 1947, Sri Lanka, 1948, Indonesia, 1949, and several African nations in the 1960s emerged as sovereign states. However, the Cold War turned the Indian Ocean into a zone of strategic competition between the United States and the Soviet Union. Both superpowers sought naval bases and alliances with regional states. The establishment of military facilities, such as the U.S. base in Diego Garcia, highlighted the ocean's growing strategic importance. During this period, maritime security, oil transportation, and naval power became key concerns. The Middle East, located along the western boundary of the Indian Ocean, emerged as a major supplier of oil to the world. Protecting sea lanes became essential for global economic stability. Today, the Indian Ocean is one of the most strategically important regions in the world. Nearly 80% of global maritime oil trade passes through its waters. Critical choke points such as the Strait of Hormuz, the Bab el-Mandeb, and the Strait of Malacca serve as lifelines for international trade. Any disruption in these areas due to conflict, piracy, or political instability can impact the global economy. The rise of emerging powers, especially India and China, has intensified strategic competition in the region. China's Belt and Road Initiative, BRI, includes investments in ports and infrastructure across the Indian Ocean, such as in Sri Lanka, Pakistan, and East Africa. Meanwhile, India seeks to strengthen its maritime influence through naval modernization and regional partnerships. Other major powers, including the United States, France, Japan, and Australia, also maintain a strong presence in the region. Military exercises, security alliances, and freedom of navigation operations reflect the ocean's continued importance in global politics. The Indian Ocean faces several modern challenges. Piracy off the coast of Somalia in the early 2000s disrupted shipping routes and required international naval cooperation. Although piracy has decreased significantly, concerns about maritime crime remain. Environmental threats also pose serious risks. Oil spills, plastic pollution, overfishing, and climate change are damaging marine ecosystems. Rising sea levels threaten low-lying island nations such as the Maldives. These environmental issues require regional and global collaboration. Terrorism, illegal trafficking, and territorial disputes further complicate maritime governance. Organizations like the Indian Ocean Rim Association, IORA, and other regional initiatives aim to promote cooperation, economic growth, and sustainable development. The Indian Ocean region includes some of the world's fastest-growing economies. Expanding trade, energy exploration, and technological development have increased regional integration. Blue economy initiatives focused on sustainable use of ocean resources are gaining importance. Port development, shipping industries, tourism, and fisheries continue to provide employment and revenue for millions of people. Coastal cities are becoming global centers of commerce and innovation. At the same time, cooperation is essential to ensure that competition does not lead to conflict. Diplomatic engagement, international law, such as the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, and multilateral dialogue are key to maintaining peace and stability. The history of the Indian Ocean reflects centuries of interaction, transformation, and strategic importance. From ancient trade routes and cultural exchange to colonial expansion and modern geopolitical rivalry, the ocean has shaped global development in profound ways. In the 21st century, it remains a vital center of economic activity, energy transportation, and political competition. As nations continue to depend on its sea lanes and resources, the Indian Ocean will remain a key factor in global stability and prosperity. Its future will depend on cooperation, sustainable management, and peaceful engagement among the diverse countries that share its shores. The Indian Ocean, while historically significant and strategically vital, faces serious environmental and developmental challenges in the 21st century. Rapid industrialization, population growth, climate change, and increasing maritime activity have placed immense pressure on its ecosystems. At the same time, the region holds enormous potential for sustainable economic development through responsible use of marine resources. This section examines the major environmental concerns, the concept of the blue economy, and the future prospects of the Indian Ocean region. One of the most pressing issues facing the Indian Ocean is climate change. Rising global temperatures have led to increased sea surface temperatures in the ocean. Warmer waters contribute to coral bleaching, a process in which corals lose their color and essential algae due to heat stress. Coral reefs in areas such as the Maldives, Seychelles, and parts of Indonesia have experienced severe bleaching events in recent decades. Since coral reefs support a wide range of marine species, their destruction threatens biodiversity and local fishing industries. Sea level rise is another serious concern. Many Indian Ocean island nations, such as the Maldives, are low-lying and highly vulnerable to rising seas. Coastal cities in countries like India, Bangladesh, and Indonesia also face increased risks of flooding, storm surges, and erosion. These impacts threaten infrastructure, livelihoods, and even national survival in some cases. Overfishing has significantly reduced fish stocks in many parts of the Indian Ocean. Industrial fishing fleets often operate beyond sustainable limits, affecting local communities that depend on traditional fishing practices. Illegal, unreported, and unregulated IUU fishing further worsens the problem. If not properly managed, declining fish populations could lead to food insecurity for millions of people. Marine pollution is another growing threat. Plastic waste, oil spills, and industrial discharge contaminate coastal waters and harm marine life. Major shipping routes pass through the Indian Ocean, increasing the risk of accidental oil spills. In addition, untreated sewage and agricultural runoff from coastal cities contribute to water pollution, damaging fragile ecosystems such as mangroves and seagrass beds. The Indian Ocean region is highly prone to natural disasters. Tropical cyclones frequently affect countries bordering the Bay of Bengal and the Arabian Sea. These storms can cause widespread destruction, especially in densely populated coastal areas. The 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami remains one of the deadliest natural disasters in recorded history. Triggered by an undersea earthquake near Indonesia, the tsunami affected 14 countries and caused massive loss of life and property. The disaster highlighted the need for improved early warning systems, disaster preparedness, and regional cooperation. Since then, significant efforts have been made to establish tsunami warning systems and strengthen emergency response mechanisms. However, vulnerability remains high due to poverty, population density, and limited infrastructure in some regions. In response to environmental challenges, many Indian Ocean countries are promoting the concept of the blue economy. The blue economy focuses on the sustainable use of ocean resources for economic growth, improved livelihoods, and job creation while preserving marine ecosystems. Key sectors of the blue economy include fisheries, aquaculture, renewable ocean energy, marine biotechnology, coastal tourism, and maritime transport. By adopting sustainable fishing practices, countries can protect fish stocks while ensuring long-term economic benefits. Ecotourism initiatives, especially in island nations, aim to generate revenue without harming natural habitats. Renewable energy projects, such as offshore wind farms and tidal energy, offer promising alternatives to fossil fuels. The Indian Ocean's vast coastline provides significant potential for clean energy production. Sustainable port management and green shipping practices can also reduce carbon emissions and pollution. The success of the blue economy depends on effective governance, scientific research, and regional cooperation. Governments must balance economic development with environmental protection to ensure long-term sustainability. Because the Indian Ocean is shared by many nations, cooperation is essential for managing its resources. Regional organizations such as the Indian Ocean Rim Association, IORA, promote collaboration in areas such as maritime safety, trade facilitation, fisheries management, and disaster risk reduction. International legal frameworks, particularly the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, UNCLOS, provide guidelines for maritime boundaries, resource rights, and dispute resolution. These laws help prevent conflicts and encourage peaceful use of ocean resources. Joint naval exercises, anti-piracy operations, and environmental agreements demonstrate growing cooperation among Indian Ocean countries. However, geopolitical competition among major powers can sometimes complicate collaborative efforts. Maintaining a balance between national interests and regional stability is crucial. The future of the Indian Ocean region will be shaped by several key factors. First, population growth and urbanization will increase demand for food, energy, and transportation. Managing these demands sustainably will require innovation and responsible policy making. Second, technological advancements in marine science and ocean exploration may unlock new opportunities. Deep-sea mining, for example, could provide access to valuable minerals, but it also raises serious environmental concerns. Careful regulation will be necessary to avoid long-term damage. Third, climate adaptation strategies will become increasingly important. Coastal protection measures, mangrove restoration, and climate-resilient infrastructure can reduce vulnerability to natural disasters. Investments in research and environmental monitoring will support informed decision-making. Education and awareness are also essential. Empowering coastal communities with knowledge and resources can encourage sustainable practices and strengthen resilience. Youth engagement and international partnerships can further promote innovation and cooperation. The Indian Ocean is bordered by countries across Africa, Asia, and Oceania. On the eastern and southern coast of Africa, it touches Somalia, Kenya, Tanzania, Mozambique, South Africa, and the island nations of Madagascar, Seychelles, Mauritius, and Comoros. In the Middle East, countries along its edge include Yemen, Oman, the United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, Iran, and those bordering the Persian Gulf such as Iraq, Kuwait, Qatar, and Bahrain. In South Asia, the ocean is bordered by Pakistan, India, Sri Lanka, the Maldives, and Bangladesh. Southeast Asian countries like Myanmar, Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia, and Singapore also have coastlines along the Indian Ocean. Finally, in Oceania, Australia borders the southern part of the Indian Ocean. The Indian Ocean stands at a critical crossroads. While it continues to serve as a vital center of trade, energy transportation, and cultural exchange, it faces significant environmental and developmental challenges. Climate change, overfishing, pollution, and natural disasters threaten both ecosystems and human livelihoods. At the same time, the region offers immense potential for sustainable growth through the blue economy and regional collaboration. By prioritizing environmental protection, responsible resource management, and peaceful cooperation, Indian Ocean nations can ensure that this vast and historically important ocean remains a source of prosperity and stability for future generations. Thank you for watching this video.